Hi there. Welcome to Teachers Tech. My name is Jamie, and it's great to have you here. Today, I want to show you how to edit videos with WeVideo. I find WeVideo one of the easiest video editors to use, and it doesn't matter what type of computer you're on because all you need is a browser. You just need to log in. So if you're on a Chromebook, this is a great option to edit videos. Another great thing about this is that if you're in the education system or teacher, you can get education accounts, and then you can have a classroom to view all your student projects. So today I'm going to walk through just how to edit videos with WeVideo in this beginner's class from start to finish. So you should be able to feel comfortable producing some great videos right away. If you don't have a WeVideo account, you can try it for free just by clicking here. You don't have all the same options as a paid for, but it gives you an idea how everything works, and you can follow along with a lot of things I show you today. You can explore the plans here as well to see what would suit your needs. If you are interested, I'll put a link down to WeVideo in the description below. Also, I'm going to put a bunch of timestamps down below of all the topics in the description. So if you're looking how to do something specific in WeVideo, you can jump to that part. But I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. You can sign up here as well, but I have an account, so I'm getting logged in. And for me, the way I log in is I log in with Google. So I'm just going to click on log in with Google, and I'm going to just put in my Google credentials and then get to the next step. Once you log in, this is the screen that you're greeted with. I want to point out that WeVideo has recently updated. If I look up here, there's next gen. I can drop down. You could go back to the classic that you want, but I really like how they've updated it with the next gen, just kind of the layout and how everything works as well. There's some quick menu items here I just want to point out. If you are in an education account, you are going to see classes, or if you're a student, there's also assignment ideas, but this won't be in here if you're in the business account. We have a few different options for templates, projects, uploading our different media, and exports, but I'm going to show you different ways that we can do this. I just want to get to creating videos right away. If I just drop down here, I want to point out you can create a video. You can do a recording of your screen with a webcam, capture your screen, kind of like what I'm doing here. You could create GIFs. You can even record a podcast and edit it with WeVideo. But I'm going to go ahead and start with video. You get to this screen right away. You can see how quickly it opens up. You can go, if I'm just going to point up out here, there's a main menu that's sometimes overlooked. You could go edit in full screen if you wanted to go to cover your whole screen, and that makes it nice actually when you're editing to get a little bit more room. I'll just come back to the menu in a moment when I'm talking about a few other things. Now, when we go ahead and start a video, something to think about right away is what is it for? What's the ratio, the aspect ratio? So if it's a normal video, that would be on a TV, the 16:9 here, and it shows kind of the little square here. But we can also do a 9:16. So if it was a YouTube short or TikTok, you could use that. A 1:1 would be more for that Instagram one. So those are your different options. And for this tutorial today, I'm just going to be keeping it in the 16:9. So the first thing that I like to do when I get started with editing a video is actually give it a name, so they're not all named the same thing, my project. And you just can go up here and click in here and just edit it. So if I was just going to call this example video here for today, I can also invite collaborators. So if you are working with other people, you can invite them to this video to help you maybe import video or take turns with the editing as well. All right, we have a name. Let's bring in some media. And when I talk about that media, that's going to be whether it be images, video, or audio. Now, for how I'm going to do this, I'm going to just hit import. I could just drag things into this window as well if I had files open, or you could just hit import like this. So if I hit browse, I can go to my computer and I have these 3 videos saved on my computer, and I'm just going to select these 3 at once. I could do one at a time if I want. I'm going to hit open. and then they're being uploaded here. Now, sometimes it can take a few moments depending on the size of your video. So remember, you have to upload everything into WeVideo to work with it. So if you have a larger file, it's going to take some more time. So I just can't start editing these until I see this blue disappear. Kind of this shows that it's processing here. I do want to point out, I'm going to go back to import. If it's not coming off your computer, or maybe you have videos in Google Drive, you can connect to Google Drive here. So I just can click on this and then it will just ask you to log into your Google Drive. Then you can pull videos from there. And notice that you have different options where you want to pull your videos from. Now I'm going to just close this off. This one is still processing. I want to point out that you want to upload to your project bin for each one because it keeps it a lot cleaner. If you just upload, if you're thinking about uploads here, these videos are the ones I just uploaded here. You can see this one is still being processed, but then all your videos are in the uploads. I can also import from here as well. But I like uploading to this project bin because these are going to be connected to this project. You can also record your screen from here with the webcam, so you can just go through those steps, or you could narrate. So if you need to narrate, it will ask for permissions from your microphone. Make sure you say yes, and then it will record your voice if you needed to add that to your video as well. All right, so what's the next step? Well, we need to drag video to our timeline down here. If you don't know, if you had multiple videos, you can do a quick preview. If I just click on it once, we get the picture here. Here's another picture, and this one is a video. And this gives me the preview to know what is happening. So I can pause it in here as well. Now, if I want to start by editing any of these videos, I can see this is 17 seconds long. Just drag it down into a track. So I can't drag it into audio. I need to drag it into video. I can drag it into text one because this works the same as video. I want to point out, even though this says video 1, you can rename any of these. And as you start working with more and more in tracks, you can add more in tracks. It would be good to name these ones. I'm just leaving it as video 1, but you can rename this. So at this point here, I've dropped this in. It's not quite at the beginning because there's a little bit of a gap. I'm going to just push it back here. So I could take my playhead, this blue thing here, and drag it along slowly if I wanted to see how it works. Or I could hit play up here as well, and it's going to show what I have happening. Now, something I just want to point out, I can zoom up on a clip. So if I zoom up, it allows me to see more of the clip, and then I can take the playhead. It's easier to get it into a specific spot when I do some trimming on it. These other clips here, these photos, I can drag photos down in here. So I've started creating my video. I have a video and a number of images, 2 images in here. So I can just go ahead and you notice how it just plays from one to the other. I can quickly drag, select 2. I can move them into a different track as well. I can move them around. I could change the order to move it over here. I could select all 3, push it back to the end. So really easy to manipulate all the different videos. If you want any of these tracks gone, as soon as I click on any of these, notice up here we have different ones. I can delete it. I can delete here. And then I'm just left with this video here. Now, what I want to point out is how do we start editing? So I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can edit a clip. Let's start a little editing here. If I hover over this, I just want to point out it shows you some information about the clip. To edit it, I need to select it. This time, now it's highlighted. You can see by the purple around. Trimming is a very easy thing to do with most video editors. You can either trim from the beginning or trim from the end. All I need to do is hover over the very beginning, and I can click and drag to where I want to trim. And you can see the time is decreasing because it's a shorter video clip. I can also do it from the other end. Just grab and hold and click and bring it in. So I have this much shorter clip. It's really easy to do that if you have extra stuff on that way. Now, the other thing I just want to point out is you haven't deleted anything. You can add it back just by simply dragging it like this. So maybe you thought you trimmed too much, just simply drag it back. Another way that you can make an edit, take the playhead here. You're going to maybe want to cut things out of the middle. I could select where on the playhead, so I could just bring it to a certain spot. I'd be watching the video where I maybe want to cut a part out. Then I can hit split. Notice now I have two chunks. I can even change the order. I could drag this one to over here to change the order of the clip. If I drag the playhead to another spot and hit split again, now I have a chunk right there that I could drag out and place it at a different part, or I could hit the delete and then bring them back together. So now if I hit play, you probably see a small jump in between the two of them. Now, the other thing I want to point out is notice when I bring my clips together where I cut, it kind of stops. It just snaps to each other. I can push it by, but it kind of just has this natural snap. If I look up in the main menu under preferences, we have snap clips, that's on. If I turn this off and start sliding it over, it just kind of slides naturally now. So if I drop, this is another way I can do some trimming of a clip. So I could replace or I can insert and push. So if I go insert and push, it just put it that way. But if I do this again and replace, it just replaced it there. So just some options that you have when you're, if you're wanting to turn on or off this preference. I like having snap clips on, so it allows me just to put things easily together. If you make any mistakes, if you just point out here, there is an undo. So I can undo the last few steps that I did. I can keep going back and undoing them. You can see that there's also the shortcut, the Control Z, just like normal. So that's some basic editing with a clip. I just want to talk about photos real quickly. If I drag a photo in, I can make a photo last as long as I want just by dragging the sides because it's static. It doesn't change. A video, I can't make a video longer than what it is because the video is only so long. I can change how fast it goes and the duration, and that would make it longer. But a photo, I can drag on either end of it and make it for long as I want. So those are just some tips with editing with videos and photos. Let's go ahead and delete everything on this track. And I can go ahead and highlight. Notice that the delete's not letting me delete, but if I hit delete on my keyboard, it will all go away at once. Now, I want to talk a little bit about layers. So I'm going to bring this video back in. And a little bit of a trick here. I want to point out that if you hit the spacebar, it automatically plays as well. And if you hit it again, it stops. That's kind of a quicker way to stop when you're editing, to kind of be a little bit more exact if you need to stop at the exact part rather than trying to hit the pause up here. Now, with layers, I can bring more videos in and create more layers. I'm not going to upload more layers, upload more videos right now. I'm actually going to go to videos right here, and I'm going to search for dogs and see what they have. And this is all part of the stock video that WeVideo has in it. So I'm going to take this video right here and drag it over top. Now, anytime you put something over top of the top layer, that's what is going to show here. So if I hit play, there's two different videos playing, but I can only see one. When this gets over here, I'll see the next one. But there's a way you can see both at the same time. And this is, I'll show you a couple different methods. The first way, if I have this selected here, we can go to audio and opacity here. And if I drop down, I'm going to go to show opacity level. This is how transparent I can make the video. So as soon as I do that, notice that we get this green line across the top. I can click this green line and add more of these dots, and I can bring them down. So watch what happens here. So if I grab this and bring this down, and I'll bring this one, I can drag it around in different places. Notice the percentage changes when I hover over. Now, as I bring my playhead, look, it's transparent. And as I brought it all the way down, it becomes totally see-through there. And then it climbs right back up. So you can control how transparent through the opacity just by showing that and then clicking those dots. So it's kind of a cool way to show multiple videos at once because you could go half and half and really play around with it and have some fun there. So I'm going to just undo quickly if you didn't want to do any of those, just like that. So another way that we could do this, if I bring a video over top, is we can edit the video and change the size. So what I mean by that is there's a couple of different ways to get to edit. I could edit this clip, this one's selected, and I could click edit and it brings me done over here. I'm gonna hit done up here for a moment because I wanna point out if I usually just double click and it brings me to the same thing. I can scale this. So if I scale this down, or I could grab the handles over here and bring it down, I can move this around to different places like this and I'll hit done. Now, if I hit my spacebar and start playing it, I have two videos playing at once here because I did a picture in picture. So it's very simple to do that. I could add another track of audio or video. I'm going to do video. And it places it up here. And remember, I can name all these different video tracks differently, and that's a good habit to get into. If I go and bring another video in, so this one's going to overtake it because it's the full size, I could double click on this and I could scale this one down and bring it to a different spot. Then I have three videos going to be playing here all at once. So I could keep doing that and placing them where I want. The other thing I want to point out, you can also crop in your video. So if I double click, take a look at this. So we have crop, and this is the one I have selected. I could crop this video down, and when I hit done, this, I can place it anywhere. Now this is a square. So I could do this to either of them. I hit play, and I have a different video through the crop there. It doesn't change the video, it just changes how it looks. So I hope that helps with understanding layers with this. With any of these videos that you do select, you can change the order, you can bring them around. But what I want to talk now is a little bit about the audio. If I go back up to my project bin here, you notice that the ones that I've selected are now added to that. So I really get to see easily what everything is. I could add audio to this. If I had audio on my computer, I could import it the same way that I did with the video and drag it down. I can also go to audio here, and this is what I'm going to do. They have a number of stock audio. And if I look through, they have all these different headings, and I can click See All, and it will increase that, all the ones under inspiring, or I could do a search. Now, when we're working with audio, I'm going to just scroll down on the side. We have one audio track here. If you wanted any of these tracks gone, you can just right click. I can delete a track as well. So if I wanted, if I didn't want so many, if I weren't using, I can do that. If you want to make a little bit more room, there is a handle here as well. I could drag up and then I can see more tracks. Let's go grab just a simple audio track here. Same way I can preview it by clicking on it. I hit my space bar and it stops. So if I bring this down into my audio track, things work very similar to video without seeing anything. If I hit my space bar, it plays. I could do the same thing here. If I wanted to trim or edit the audio, I can do the same things. I could hover over the beginning like so, and I could trim, and I can do this in both sides. If I just drag this over, I'm going to go to 1% so I can see the whole track. I could drag from the other end as well. If I use my playhead, bring it to where I want, I can do a split. I can take chunks out. So it works very similar to video. I can drag it into different spots. I could put the audio and see how it plays. You can see that there was an edit there. Now, you can undo just like before. You could move things back and forth, and you get all the same different options. What I want to point out, another thing, just like with the video. So in the video, I could change the opacity to kind of see through it. If I pick any clip, if I go up to the audio and this time show audio level, notice I don't even get this option because it's just video. If the video had audio in it, I can do this with the video. It will show, but I can go ahead and I can put these dots in, and it's going to adjust the volume for a certain spot. So if I go ahead back and just press my space bar, this will get quieter here as it goes through here, and then it will get louder. So it's very easy to manipulate that. If you had audio when someone was speaking, you could bring it down for a certain spot and bring it up. This audio here is just going to be for the whole track, anything on the track. So I could bring down this, and it's going to be a lot quieter for the whole track, or I could bring it up. Notice I can even bring it above 100%. If you were recording something, it didn't come out loud, you could try to bring it up. Sometimes it kind of makes the quality go down if you bring it up too much. I can add more tracks of audio. So if I hit audio here, I can go grab another one and I can layer them. So the one thing versus the video, if the top video would play with audio, they both play at the same. And you can see how terrible that sounds. But you can pull where you want the audio to be. So that's just working with audio. If I take everything out here, I can do the same thing, hit delete on my keyboard. I'm going to go back to video real quickly, and I just want to show. So if I type in spider here again, I'm going to grab this spider here and just put it in video 1. And I'm going to zoom up just a little bit here so we get more of it. So this spider is just dangling. I just want to show the importance of audio. If I go over to audio now, this spider without any music to it seems kind of boring. But if I add audio to it and hit play, this spider feels like it's on an adventure or something. So I always like to point out the importance of audio with any video clip to kind of really change the mood, because I can go to sad or dark. You can see all these different ones that I could quickly change. So if I was going to go to serious, it changes the mood right away of what people are thinking about that spider. So really quickly, you can have some fun with all the different audio tracks in it. All right, let's go on to some other things here. You probably also want to know how to add text and transitions. I've added a series of videos of animals and images along this track here. Now, transitions are right here. And there's a couple different ways that we can add them. So one way is just drag them down in between the images and the video. So right here, it goes from a video to a video. If I drag this down in between, now I go from one to the other. If I click on this, I can change it right from here. How long do I want the duration to be? So if I want it to be a longer duration, it makes it longer. So it's a 2-second one, and then it just kind of takes longer to go from. If I click on it again, I can actually apply this to all if I wanted the same transition across them. Now I could actually change from this one. So if I say, let's do a dip to white, and if I go back, and it will change. So that's a dip to white. I can also drag any of these over top to replace them as well, or put them into a different spot. So look at the curtain ones, very easy to add as it transitions. Paper airplane, if I wanted it there now, we have transitions. Another way that we can add transitions, if we just right click on any clip, we have transitions here. Also another way to get to the opacity levels that I showed you as well before. But if I just click add transition, it added the transition to both of them. And I can go and drag more to it. So these are images. So in this case, this is just an image, and this was a video. So I can go from video to image with the transitions. It's no problem at all. I do want to point out something about editing. Notice how the black bars are here. If I go ahead and double click on these ones with the images, if you didn't want the black bars, you can scale it up here, and then you can drag it if you wanted it to be, if you wanted to take up the whole screen with any of these images. Then I can right click and I can add my transitions to where I need to and make changes to them as well. So some simple things about transitions. Let's add some text to this as well. So here I have text. Now with any of these text items, it works better. I'm going to put another layer above it because there's transparency. When anything's black, that shows that it's transparent. So I am going to add a new track, video or text here, and it's just going to be labeled video. I can call this text if I wanted to change this, if I was just keeping this to everything text. What I can do at this point is drag, so I can look through different examples. You can see there's seasonal ones. I'm just going to go back to the titles. I'm going to go see all, and it shows me all these different ones as I go through. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one right here, and I'm going to drag it on top of this right here. So if I go ahead and just hit my space bar, then my text comes up. But you probably don't want it to say my big bold message. Now we can double click to edit or go to here, but as soon as I double click on this, it makes it super easy to change. So if instead of my, I could say hello, and I can type everyone here, and I'll put an exclamation mark, and this is getting changed on the side. I can change the size of the font here if I want, so I can adjust these and to make anything smaller or larger. To go through any of these, I can change the type of font on these as well. So it makes it really easy to change these up, and we have some color changes here that this would be the font. And just like that, I have it done. Now this doesn't look that good, but just to show you how quickly I can hit done, and we have text right on top here, and I can move this to wherever I want. I could even use this at the beginning, so I could nudge this all over, and maybe I want this right here playing, and it goes through like that. So that's not a good example with the colors in the background, so I could go back and adjust the black if I wanted it to be, let's say, a red, to have it show up more. I can do that. I can also move this around. I can make this smaller and place it where I would like on here. Always pay attention to the sides. We have those different options too with the opacity. If I wanted it more see-through, do I want it to fade, blurred background, and we can reset it. So very easy to add text, move it around. It can go in the same layer as the video or on top with all the transparency that we have. Now, before I just move on to some final parts of this, I want to show you there are extras. So with extras, if you wanted some call outs, some overlays, you can take a look at the different ones. So if I go here, if I wanted to kind of draw highlights over something, so if I was going to go to this snake and I bring in this arrow, I can move it to a certain part, I can rotate it to point at something, and then that becomes part of it. So these are just different call outs, or maybe you want to circle things that you can use. We have backgrounds that we can start with. So if you need a solid color, go to see all, or animations. I can bring these in. So if I bring it in, there's not enough spot there. But if you wanted something at the beginning, you could nudge these over, bring it in. And now we could start with this. You could put your text on top of something like this. Just some extras so you don't have to go looking for these. Okay, so I want to point out some other things that you can do with filters, show you some green screen and how we export everything. So to quickly add effects to any clip, I'm going to drag a clip down. You have it selected. I could drag multiple ones down and apply to more at the same time. But let's say I click on it, I go to filters, and we have a bunch of different options to choose from. We can go through the categories that they have up here. If I pick this Mono 12, the purple, I can apply to select a clip or all clips and hit apply, And then we have that filter quickly applied. So if you want to play around with the filters, that's how quick you can do them. Before I just get to green screen, I want to point out animation, and that's taking an object and moving it across. So the object could be other media, and I can move that. I could use it video, or I could use even a picture. So what I'm going to do is just import something back into my project bin. I have this basketball here. That's just a all this is just a PNG transparent background here. And we have it down at the bottom. And what I want to have happen is on this one, on this clip, I'm going to bring this picture in. So you can see it's just a basketball sitting there. It's just a picture on top. I'm going to make it move across the screen. I'm going to double click on this or edit. This time I'm going to go to animation. Where do I want the starting position to be? Well, I'm going to scale this down to make this smaller. And I'm going to actually drag it off. And where do I want the ending positions to be? I'm going to make this smaller again and bring it to the other side. Now I could change it to kind of the line that I wanted, but if I hit done, take a look what happens now. If I hit play, I can make that ball go across the screen through animation. So that's kind of another thing that you can have fun with. Even if it's an image, you can make it move. So I can even do the same things with video. If I had a picture-in-picture I wanted to move across the screen, I can apply the same animation to this. All right, let's have some fun with green screen now. If you don't have any green screen media, if you haven't recorded anything, you can just search in WeVideo in the videos. So if I go to green screen here, take a look at the different samples that you can use. I'm going to use this dinosaur. It's only 6 seconds long, this one, but I'm going to drag it into this layer. I just called this one green screen already, so I can place it where I'd want. Now, where do I want this dinosaur to be? Let's say we want this dinosaur to be on the beach, and I just want to find a video clip. I'm going to use this one right here, and I'm just going to place it behind. So right now, if I looked at it, I have the beach and then a dinosaur. I need the green to go away. If I select this, I could go to edit or double click. This time, I'm going to go to keying. Now with keying, I just have to select the dropper tool. What do I want to go away? I want the green to go away, so I select the green. So I just click and look at that. I can do a little preview here of this dinosaur walking on the beach here. Just 2 different video clips that I've chosen. I could go to transform. I could scale the dinosaur down, place it somewhere else here to see how it looks when it goes through. I could do the cropping. I could I could add animation from a start and end point, just like I showed you before. We can change the speed of any video. If you want to change the duration of it, just go to speed, and I could speed this up or slow this down. So if I wanted it to be a little longer, walk a little slower, and you can see he is walking, or she is slow motion now. All these different effects that I can add. I can hit done. Just like that. The other thing I can do, I can copy clips. Maybe you've done a lot of different things to it and you can just copy. If I go and make sure it's selected, Control C, I'm just going to move my this over the playhead and paste, Control V. I can put it back over top. I'm going to move this one. I have 2 different ones. I could keep doing this over and over again, and I could modify this if I wanted to by the same ways. Now, another way you could use green screen is to cut something out. So if I go green screen, I'm just going to slightly move this over. Let's say we're going to take this person on the tablet, and I'm just going to hover it over the beach here. If I want to make it look like he was looking at a beach, I can go ahead, double click on this, go to my keying. What do I want to go away? So I'll select the dropper. I want the green to go away. And now he's looking at the beach. If I hit done, I hit my space bar. And if I wanted the beach to be a different size, I go to this one and I could scale this down. You can see how it changes, and I can move it to make sure it fits here. I could actually add the dinosaur in here as well too. So what is he looking at? He's looking at the dinosaur on the beach here. So with green screen, you have so many different options that you can do, that you can quickly create. You can let your imagination just kind of run wild and create whatever you want. So how do you end this? How do you export that? This is what I want to show you now. Let's say you're all done your video. You have some transitions, some text, some green screen. You can go ahead, just go up top to export and go through making sure your title is correct. Video, do you want a podcast? This is going to be a video. What type of resolution? So in an education account, this was the top one that I have, but if you're in a business account, you can go all the way up to 4K. There's some advanced settings if you want to change the frame rate. Depending on visual quality, you can also go to high. Do you want to save a copy directly to your Google Drive? Just select this, and then a copy will be in your Google Drive. You will also always get a copy in your WeVideo that you can download later, but you can see that you can connect right to YouTube or OneDrive. Just go ahead and hit export. Then it goes through the process of processing this. When it's done, you can just hit download here if you want, or even share within WeVideo. But in this case, since I checked it, it will have a copy also in my Google Drive. If I hit done, brings me back to the home screen. I can go back and edit it at any time by just hitting edit. And you can just hit close if you're done as well. So that's kind of how to use WeVideo. We covered a lot of material here today, but I just wanted to make sure that you would understand where everything is. So let me know what you think of the tutorial, this beginner's class for WeVideo. Thanks for watching this time. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.